Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Kyle.
This is Sabrina.
And we are doing a Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 6 review entitled Blood of My Blood. So, we got some crazy reveals this week.
Yeah.
We saw some returning characters who we didn't think that we'd see for a long time.
Walder Frey.
Walder Frey comes to mind. We saw Benjen.
Oh, Benjen!
That's a big one.
Oh my gosh, in and out, but yes.
That's crazy. I didn't think we'd see him again for a long time, if ever again. But, alright, let's go ahead and get into it. So, let's start out with where we left off last week. Hodor. Hold the door. Yeah, a lot of memes going around the internet this week with hold the door. I ordered my Hold the Door t-shirt from Amazon. Very sad, but we just left off with the death of Hodor. And his sacrifice gave Mira and Bran a little bit of time, and they were able to get away. And while Mira was getting away, Bran had visions, and what we saw was the Mad King. For the first time in the television show, we saw the Mad King say, "Burn them all," and I believe what we saw was a quick shot of Jaime stabbing the Mad King.
Yeah, I remember that. That's right.
Stabbing the Mad King in the back. It was crazy, right?
Right. So, well, there were a lot of flashes, and then there was I don't know if you saw the flash of the baby, the blue eyes. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like...
From season 3? 2 or 3.
I don't know what the reference was. I just remember seeing a baby and the blue eyes, and I was like...
Remember when the White Walker would take Craster's babies, and at the end of the episode we saw the Night King touch the baby and his eyes turn blue. So that was a reference to that, which means that tells me that's going to be important, right? That they referenced that, like making more White Walkers or whatever. So that's really interesting. So that's pretty crazy. So Bran's having these visions.
He's being uploaded, right? That's what you explained to me. Because I didn't understand. I was like, how is he having visions if he's not?
The Three-Eyed Raven basically, inside the episode at the end of the thing, last week they said that Bran wasn't ready and that he was basically going to be uploaded with all this information as quickly as possible, and the Three-Eyed Raven didn't get as much time as he thought he would. So, as they're being attacked by the Whites, they're coming after him in the forest, and a mysterious rider appears. And
he said, wouldn't that be crazy if that was Benjen? Because you know who we haven't seen in a while? Like, sure enough. Before
we even saw a horse rider, that's what I literally said. I said, what if Benjen came out of nowhere and just saved these guys?
You wrote the show, didn't you?
And I wish. And that's what happened. Benjen came out of nowhere and saved them, and that was really incredible. I can't believe that he's finally back. I really like the actor. And we finally learned what happened to Benjen. He was stabbed by a White Walker, by one of those icy blades, and he was going to become one of the Whites. But the Children of the Forest found him and saved him using the same dragon glass dagger method that they used to make the White Walkers. Right. They saved him. So... Did
they say why they saved him? They just found some random one and they were like, we don't want you to be...
I guess it's one less soldier in the White Army, maybe. I don't know. I mean, if you have a chance to save one of these guys. I mean, yeah, they didn't really address why. I'm assuming the Three-Eyed Raven needed him to also protect Ben. I keep saying Ben. Bran and Mira. But for all you book readers, Cold Hands officially confirmed that Benjen Stark is Cold Hands, and I think a lot of people have theorized about that or knew that, but yeah, Cold Hands. So that's really cool, and I'm glad, like this, Bran was such a boring storyline before the season, and now he's my favorite storyline. I love following him, I love learning about the history of Westeros, and we're learning so much from Bran.
I just want a full season of Bran and just these flashbacks.
You know what's funny is that if you cut all of Bran's stuff together from each episode, you maybe get like a total of 20 minutes this entire season of Bran stuff.
Right.
But it's I mean, I guess.
Well, now he has all the information, and so like you see people like on horses going through, and I'm like, can we just cut that time and use that time for finding out what happened in the past?
Then we move to Sam and Gilly, and they're headed to Hornhill, and Sam meets Mrs. Tarly and daughter Tarly.
Awkward family dinner.
Oh, that was terrible. So Randall Tarly is a jerk, and he's a great warrior, and I think, I could be wrong about this, but I believe he was one of the only people to beat Robert Baratheon in battle when Robert was trying to take over or when Robert was doing his rebellion.
Was this referenced in another episode?
I know that it's like, if you go on YouTube and you watch like that history compilation that we watch, I think it's referenced in there, and I think book readers know that too.
Book readers now.
There's a lot more information with the Tarleys and Randall Tarley, but he's a great warrior as far as I know. And he has Sam, who's not exactly the greatest warrior, and is called fat at the dinner table.
He ordered the extra bread.
With extra bread.
Like, that's me. I would be eating that.
You're fat enough, is what Randall Tarley said. So
food carbs.
That was crazy. And then, so we see how Sam is deeply affected by that. Gilly comes to his rescue at the dinner table, but Sam doesn't.
Just sitting there.
Sam doesn't exactly return. I know, it's terrible. These awkward family dinners.
Where you grew and then you shrunk.
If you have
2 seconds.
If you have dinner at Westeros, they never usually end very well. So any dinner scene you see, but Sam did what he said, and Randall Tarley, who is an honorable man, albeit a jerk, said that I will take care of your kid. And I will let her work in the kitchens, and they'll be safe here. Because if you look at that palace they live in, that's a really amazing place.
Right.
Like, it was very, very cool looking. So they would definitely be safe there. And so Sam says his tearful goodbye to Gilly and little Sam. And he walks out the door. And Gilly
walks right back in.
And then barges right back in and says, you know what, screw this. I don't care what the script says. You're going to come with me. So he, in a really ballsy move,
decision
ballsy move.
That's how I am at the grocery store. I won't get a Snickers bar. Oh wait,
that's like those impulse decisions. And also, speaking of impulse grabs, like a Snickers, he impulse grabs the Valyrian steel sword.
Heartsbane. Like, I want this too. This belongs to me.
He walked over there and took it.
Does he know Valyrian steel kills White Walkers? Is that just like a...
No, he does.
Because so that's why he grabbed it.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know if that's specifically why he grabbed it, but yeah, actually that could be exactly why he grabbed it, because he knows that Valyrian steel.
You're gonna go kill some White Walkers if you're grabbing that sword. That's what you're implying.
That's true. But we do know he's gonna go to Oldstown become a maester. But now he's just taking Gilly and.
Well, is he gonna do that now though? Because
it
seems like he has different intentions.
But he talked about at the dinner table, like, once I get my chains, I'll go back to Castle Black. And
But he was also going to leave Gilly and baby Sam there, too.
But only because they were safe there. Because at Oldstown, they wouldn't be necessarily safe.
So he's going to take him to Maester Town.
He's going to take him to Maester Town. That's what I'm assuming.
Well, that'll be a future thing to... Interesting to see.
There was really no reason for them to even go to Hornhill, like, in this episode, except for that
should be time for Bran.
Poor Bran. Bran doesn't get enough screen time.
But he needed to get the sword, so okay, fair enough.
Bran missed an entire season. They should just devote an entire season to Bran.
Right.
But yeah, so they grabbed the sword, and we were introduced to Randall Tarley. 2 big things that happened in Sam's plot point this week.
That was kind of interesting. I sat there the first minute of that scene, and I was like, "Why is this relevant? Like, what's the importance?" Because it was real slow. There was a lot of.
It was slow.
Of acting, no talking.
It was, and I really like. So they introduced 2 new characters this season, who are sort of villainous: Euron Greyjoy and Randall Tarley.
Yeah.
And I'm already more impressed with Ian. I believe that's Ian McShane. Ian McShane's in
who plays Euron?
No, who plays Randall Tarley.
Oh, okay.
Bad guy from
A Knight's Tale.
A Knight's Tale. I believe that's him. I believe that's him. I'm already way more. I want to see more of Randall Tarley.
Well, he seems so sinister and evil.
He
does.
He
just has the resting bitch face while he says everything.
Absolutely, it's really good. It's
waiting
really good.
for him to chuck a knife at someone. But
I find that way more impressive than Euron.
Euron is just sloppy and like a pig.
You call him a pig as soon as he was on. Yeah, as soon as he was on screen.
Well, he walks
But no, I don't know. I like that portrayal of a villain way more than Euron. But I mean, and that's nothing against the acting choices of Euron or the actor who plays him. Mm-hmm. It's just I know that they have to rush through that Ironborn storyline a little bit because they're a little slow in the books. And then we move to King's Landing. So the first thing we see is Tommen and the Sparrow talk to each other, and we've been saying this for a couple episodes now. That the Sparrow looks like he's manipulating Tommen. Just talking about how good the faith is.
Everyone's manipulating Tommen.
That's true. He's being pulled apart.
Sparrow wins, though.
But we saw, a couple weeks ago, when he's like, I'm an old man, come sit down with me, let's have a talk right here. I'm like, he's playing the old man card, and you could totally tell that he was just manipulating Tommen. And then the Sparrow knows that he has Marjorie in his pocket, and so he sends Tommen to Marjorie, and Marjorie's like, the Sparrow's not what we thought he was, he's such a great person, and all that, and Tommen's hooked right there.
Right.
The girl he's
whatever
with,
Marjorie says, honestly, she like trust the woman. Like what the woman says goes.
But I'm curious though, is Marjorie honest about this, or is she playing a game?
I feel like she's playing a game. Like her entire career, woman like facade on the show is her like trying to play Game of Thrones, you know, in benefit of herself.
Right, or her family, really, her and her family. But I don't know.
What do you think?
It's really tough. I can't tell because we did see last week when
she just wants to get the F out, like
when she cried to Loras at the feet. He's like, Loras was like,
do anything,
please make it stop. You know, I don't want to live like this anymore, or whatever. And so it makes me wonder if Marjorie's actually on board with the Sparrows and everything, or this is some part of the plan. My instinct says that no, she's actually manipulated, and she's
manipulated, or she's manipulating.
She has been manipulated by the Sparrow.
Probably. Well. Yeah. Okay.
That's just my guess. So then, the Tyrell army marches because Marjorie's about to make her Walk of Atonement. Mm-hmm. And, of course, we find out that she's not actually going to make a Walk of Atonement. She actually already atoned for her sins by converting the king to the faith.
Right. Oh, and when the scene happened, I was like, for Marjorie and Tommen, did you know what your family was planning? Like, had they communicated, or did they not know? Because I felt like there was a disconnect, and like you just upset everything that like Cersei and Jaime. And,
I think that there was the implication that this was a giant plan. Like,
she's super annoying.
Like the princess or the queen has been captured. They come up with a plan. And when they go to execute the plan, the queen basically is like, "Oh no, don't do that."
Because the Sparrow's already manipulated the two most important.
And we saw Jonathan Pryce, who plays the High Sparrow, give a great look at the end of that scene where he was just like, "I win."
He like knew the whole time going into it. He probably knew that they were gonna try and turn around like her walk of shame. He was probably like expecting Jaime and Cersei to show up, I feel like.
And you saw Lady Olinda said at the end, like, he's beaten us, right? That's what he said. So yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it! Like these characters do that all the time.
They're so
show,
good.
And it's like you just. Ugh.
So now, as a result of that, we didn't get to see a giant Tyrell. So the teaser before the season started, we saw the Tyrell army like stop the Sparrows and everything. And we're like, someone's gonna die in that scene. No one dies in that scene. I'm a little upset. That was a waste of a Tyrell army. That's going to be a long walk back to Highgarden. But Tommen dismisses Jaime from the Kingsguard. And now Jaime is no longer a Kingsguard. And he can now, own land?
What did he say the reason was? Oh, because he attacked the Sparrow? Was that really the reason?
We just saw the episode, so it's fresh in our minds, kind of, but we only saw it once.
And
we will be watching it again, but this is our initial impression. So I don't remember the exact reason.
I remember he said, like, you went against the faith, and the faith
was
the power.
But
I felt like there was a little more.
I'm sure there was more to it. All we know is that Jaime's now free of the Kingsguard. He's no longer.
He's like Tyrion, like, go do your own thing, bro.
Yeah, he's gone. He's going to go do his own thing. And I believe the king banished him from the city. He said, "You're fine. You serve the crown and the faith loyally."
The only place where we go is Essos. That's the place where everyone goes.
Where Lannisters go when they're kicked out of King's Landing.
When anyone goes when they're banned from Westeros.
Well, so what I believe the plan was is to go find the Blackfish, who's now has an army.
Oh yeah.
And maybe go take back Castle Rock or whatever it was, and he's probably gonna come back with another army. Like,
we'll see.
I mean, and Cersei seems super confident that the Mountain is gonna win her trial by combat, and I
totally forgot that.
I know, right?
Is that even gonna still happen? Because it just feels like that happened the first episode of this season.
I know, and well, they keep so this is what scares me, and I say scares me as like I would really be concerned if Cersei died. But it scares me because they keep mentioning this trial by combat, and they keep saying we have the Mountain, like just thrown it in our faces, and we all assume no one should beat the Mountain. And what if the mountain, whoever he faces, whether it be the Hound or, if that theory is correct, or whoever it is, what if the mountain dies? What if Cersei's on the hook? Yeah, what if the mountain dies again?
The last time they had a trial by combat, I felt like the episodes dragged on too, for it was like they would talk about it every episode. It took like, I don't remember how many, but it just felt like the same pace. Like, I want to see this gosh, like, darn
trial by combat
already. That's like the most exciting part.
That's very true. That is very true.
Fight.
Then, after King's Landing, we go to the twins, and we finally see Felch.
Felch.
We finally see Felch.
Where was the cat?
We see
Mrs. Norris wasn't there.
We see Walder Frey, and he's talking about the Red Wedding. He's talking about how the Blackfish Army has taken back River Run.
I just saw his face, and I just wanted to reach at the screen and just slap him.
I was really hoping that the girl standing next to him. I obviously know this isn't going to happen because Arya had her own storyline. But if the girl was like Arya rips off the face and just stabs Walder Frey, I'm waiting for that, for Arya to impersonate her on one of these episodes.
She doesn't die first.
We'll get to that in a second. But then we see Edmund, who married the one good-looking Walder Frey girl.
Oh, yeah. He had to explain to me who that was, because I completely forgot. Because a million storylines have happened since
season 2 or season 3.
Like, who's that guy? Oh.
Yeah, he's the one who didn't want to marry, and then he was like, oh, okay, sure, I'll marry because you're good looking. And then he ran off
to have a wedding, and probably that didn't happen.
And that didn't happen.
How sad.
Well, it's also funny, because I think they do mention that he, like, the very next episode, that he spent his honeymoon in the dungeons, but it's like a very throwaway line.
You would pay attention to that.
Well, having seen the series now like 7 times, over. But yeah, so we got a little bit. We finally saw Walder Frey. So Walder Frey, Benjen back in the mix, and we might see them a little bit more.
Basically, they're rebelling was what I got from that, and they're gonna go take over armies.
They're gonna try. Yeah, they're gonna try and. I mean, I'll have to rewatch it again to make sure. But yeah, they're gonna have to. Yeah, he's gonna have to do something.
That'll be good. I'm ready for him to die.
Now we get to Braavos, where Arya's storyline is really picking up. So, Arya is sitting and watching The Purple Wedding as a comedic play, which we all laughed really hard when we saw Joffrey die. Let's not kid ourselves.
Wait, in the play or the actual scene?
I think both. I think in the play and the actual
scene. I played that part in the episode when he died. I played those 15 seconds over and over.
Joffrey's mutilated face is my screensaver on my phone.
Right.
So Arya's laughing. She gets a big laugh out of that. She sees Crane, Lady Crane, who plays Cersei.
Yeah.
The actress who plays Lady Crane, who's playing Cersei in the play, is doing a really good job. She's, heartfelt, and Arya likes her. They have a little conversation after the play is over, and she says, "You have a beautiful eyes and you have beautiful eyebrows," which I've always said that about Arya.
That's how you make people not want to kill you. Just tell them they have beautiful eyes.
And she's a good person. So the conflict is, is she Arya Stark or is she nobody? And we find out the for sure answer to that question in this episode, because we see her poison the rum, and then she knocks the rum out of her hand.
I saw that happen, and my reaction was like,
"Oh!" I was like, "No, Arya, don't!"
I screwed herself up.
She's a good person, but don't become a faceless man. And
she's gonna die. That's my prediction. Like, she's set in stone her fate.
Straight up said, that actress wants you dead, so watch out for her. And then walks out, and the waif we saw was watching the whole thing.
So happy that she did that.
She was happy. She doesn't like Arya. She really doesn't like Arya. It's that
she couldn't wait to rat on her.
It's that girl cattiness. Only Jog in the Car can only have one girl.
It's gonna be Arya, because Arya's gonna kill her finally.
Is she? She hasn't won a single stick fight yet against her, so I don't know.
She has Needle now. That's all
she has Needle, and that's the point. We find out that she's actually Arya Stark with a little bit of faceless man training. She has Needle back, so that's really cool. So we'll see. In the promos for this season, we see Arya jump from like a yawning to a yawning.
Yeah.
Or an awning. I said yawning. An awning to an awning. Trying to escape. So that might be what this is from. But then we go to Dothraki land, and we see, and not really much happened here. Dany is riding with the Khalasar, and she stops and has a little talk with Dario, and she says, "I'm a conqueror. Wait here." And she rides off, and everyone's like, "Where the hell is she going?" And then
the dragon screech.
Drogon just flies overhead, and Dany gives a speech that is highly reminiscent of the same speech that Khal Drogo gave to his Khalasar when he said that they were going to go across the lands and basically burn, rape, and pillage all of Westeros.
A little different, I think.
It was a little bit, a little different.
Was a little different.
Yeah, yeah, just a little bit, but she still has a little Drogo in her. A little bit. So
I love that she referenced him. I miss him.
I know
but
you do.
He needed to go. But
you're in love with Jason Momoa. It's quite alarming, actually. Makes me highly uncomfortable.
Jason Momoa's a man.
But yeah, so Dany storyline, we like it. I mean, she's riding back to Marine right now, supposedly, and we know that her ships were burned down. And this is part of the theory, is that Theon and Yara might make their way to Marine and be the savior for Daenerys.
Isn't that what Euron's trying to do too, though?
Well, so
that was his plan, but they stole the ships or the crew that they could.
They stole most of the ships.
And try to get a head start.
If Euron has 1,000 ships, I feel like building 1,000 ships fleet would take a while. If he has one by the end of the season, I don't know how believable that is. But we've also seen Peter Baelish jump into a teleporter and be able to go from place to place wherever he wants in this show. Because he just appeared
he probably has underground tunnels.
Yeah, he does.
I really believe that.
The Westeros,
he's a masterminder.
The Westeros subway system that he uses, that he invented and employed.
I saw this scene with Dany and on her dragon, and I was like, another scene. They're ending the show with Daenerys, just a big speech and this powerful. Like last time it was the fire, now it's her sitting on a dragon. Like they're really building up her character right now. Like
just to die by a slave. Just to be killed by a slave as soon as she gets back to Marine.
Yeah, someone pokes her with something and she gets infected and dies. No.
I don't know. As far as Tyrion goes, I always thought Tyrion was an unkillable character. But he's making some unpopular decisions with people right now, and I'm scared for Tyrion. Super scared for Tyrion. He's definitely testing the waters in not a good way right now. And I hate that Benioff and Weiss, they compared him to Abraham Lincoln, and he's like, Abraham Lincoln didn't want to.
Yeah, they did.
They're
basically foreshadowing that he's going to get shot.
He's going to get shot in the head at a play. Oh, at a play, they have plays in this thing.
Did.
Oh, Tyrion's in trouble, everyone. But yeah, that was our thoughts and impressions. We haven't seen Dorne again, the Sand Snakes, who also that's the fourth episode in a row we haven't seen Dorne.
Are they important to the story? Like they're not doing anything.
They're not important to any TV show watcher because they're apparently really good in the books.
Cersei's moved on from her daughter's death and was focused on getting back at the High Sparrow for her walk of shame.
Yeah,
so obviously she doesn't care anymore.
Marcella's death, I thought was going to carry more weight. I just thought that was going to break Cersei.
Cersei's a selfish Beezy and only cares about herself.
But they always say her one redeeming quality is how much she loves her children.
But then she feels like she has to get revenge for what she went through. So obviously, her children push them aside.
So Marjorie, no Walk of Atonement. Cersei, a trial by combat forthcoming.
That we're still waiting.
And I'm really scared for Arya. She's hiding in the dark with the needle.
Sentenced to death now.
Yeah, Arya's in trouble. But guys, that was our Game of Thrones recap for episode 6, Blood of My Blood. Final thoughts? What'd you think? Yay? How good was the episode? Now, compared to last week's episode was amazing. Where would you compare it with this week's episode?
I feel like last week's episode was more emotional, just because you had that one scene with Hodor, and it's just like that's all you could think about.
The door.
Yeah. And this episode, there were a lot of build up. I feel like so it wasn't like anything like really super exciting. It's just like it's building up to something that maybe the next episode or an episode from now.
This definitely felt like the in between episode that builds things up.
Yeah, it was an in between episode. No Mortal Kombat, so.
Yeah, I love
trial by combat.
Yeah, oh my god! I just want to know. Just hurry up.
Building up, yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna be the Hound who fights because I think they would have seeded that already, right? Like we would have seen like somebody in a coat or something that they have for to fight.
They're really good at throwing things in at the right time.
That's true. Yeah, I'll give Game of Thrones benefit of the doubt.
This is definitely an episode I need to rewatch again because there are all those story building up plots, and I need to like make sure, especially like the flashbacks that Bran goes through. I want to like
just
rewatch
just
that.
Pause it.
Yeah, like rewatch that sequence over and over so I like catch everything because I know I didn't catch everything the first time. So I'm gonna definitely go back and do that.
These are raw reactions that we have right here. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Like this video if you want more Game of Thrones content. Subscribe to us. We're building up our subscriber base, so thank you. Leave a comment down below. Who's your favorite storyline? Who's your favorite character? Which one are you looking forward to the most?
Like Arya.
You're an Arya girl.
Yeah.
I'm on Team Bran this year. I never was on Team Bran, but I love Bran stuff.
Team Bran, Team Arya.
If Bran, I swear though, if Bran brings down the wall because he has that mark on him,
this whole like TV show is Bran's fault. That's my prediction.
You know, now that they introduced the Mad King, I bet you he started the Mad King hearing voices.
Oh,
like he started.
We'll find out.
Oh, that'd be crazy. Anyway, guys, thanks again. This is Kyle.
This is Sabrina.
And this has been a critique on the universe of TV shows.
Thank you for listening to Universal Critics Podcast. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and visit us at universalcritics.com.
Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
Oh, you think darkness is your ally?
I will find him! I do not need your sympathy or your admiration. All I need is your compliance.
Let me explain what's happening here. You are a criminal.
What are you doing? Find me when you wake up.
Shadows in the night, so play the unseen.